Hello everyone, welcome to some rFactor here on the channel rFactor 2, and we're today going to be checking out the NASCAR mod. Again, I've done this before, but now we have official confirmation that the next NASCAR game will be using the rFactor 2 physics. So I thought, you know what, let's get a feel for what we're going to be actually feeling physics-wise in the next NASCAR game. So we're going to be driving some NASCAR cars, probably going to take it around to one oval and run one road course for this episode here and get a feel of what we're going to actually be feeling in the next NASCAR game. I've got a bunch of video ideas with some mods and stuff that I'm going to do specifically here on rFactor, so I'm excited to actually get it going. So let's test out the physics for what we're going to be feeling in NASCAR 21. Alright, so we are here at Martinsville Speedway. I'm running the number 24 car, so we have a whole bunch of different camera views. That'd be really cool if we get something like this as well in the next NASCAR game. You get these awesome views right here, and this is just a little bit of it. You can go here, you get the interior and whatnot. You get the back of the car. I'm not going to be using that because I do not like driving from the view. This is what we're going to be using here. Just a fair warning. The AI in this game are not designed for oval racing whatsoever. So the AI on ovals is horrendous, to say it at best. So we are going to be doing a road course test, like I mentioned, to get a better idea. So we still want to do one oval. I already installed the car, so let's get it back going here. But very excited to try this out again. Now that we officially know that this is what we're going to be having in NASCAR 21 or whatever it's going to be called in terms of physics. That spotter needs to be turned off already, I can tell, but and another thing is we got to mess with the gearing here. So actually, let's go mess with that right now. Alright, so we are back on track. I kind of got the gearing set up. We're in 4th gear now, finally, comfortably, and going around the track with no issues. I turned the spotter audio right off because the spotter is extremely annoying, probably the most annoying spotter of any racing game I've ever played. Right now, P12 on the board. The starting grid is random. I'm not qualifying. It's just going to be straight up practice, so you'll see what the AI are like in the race. It's pretty crazy. I do have cautions on. It's going to be just a quick 20-lap sprint, and then we're going to test out some road racing, but this just gives us a really good idea to see how ovals feel. This is on max difficulty. We just put up the second best lap time, actually. Matt Tift, currently P1. This is on the 2019 roster and stock car for NASCAR as well. But just the physics overall, I was very, very happy to see an official confirmation say that rFactor 2 physics will sure enough be what is going to be represented in the next NASCAR game, because it feels so good. You're going to notice when I'm driving, I got the wheel cam set up for this episode here, and when I put the input into the wheel, unlike current NASCAR games, the input I put in, I feel like the car is actually responding the way it's supposed to be. Is actually we're P1 now, but the car responds the way I expect it to be with the input that I'm putting in. If I get lose some grip, then and I try to correct it, it responds the way I expect it to. And you know, in current NASCAR games, if I get loose and I feel like I try to correct it to the right or sometimes it's just going to hook right on into the wall, and it's just really hard to find the balance. But with this, it's just like it responds so well, and it just feels like I'm actually in more of a sim-based racing game, and that's really what we're going to be expecting, a little bit more sim-based with NASCAR 21. Now behind Kyle Busch, though, in turns 1, I did see that I guess the AI from rFactor 2 might be represented and whatnot in the next NASCAR game. That's a bit of a concern, personally. I'm hopeful that, hello Kyle, but the AI in rFactor 2 at least, I'm hopeful that it's cleaned up for the next game, because they feel extremely stiff. And I mean, if I get on the back of Kyle Busch here, he pulls his way down the straight, but as I go down into turns 3, I get into the back of him, it moves him a little bit, which is nice. We don't really have that very often now, but they feel so stiff. And like if I'm just casually going down the straightaway, and say if I try to hook them or something in the quarter panel, they're not just going to go around, they're just going to continue moving on. So you really, really have to hit them like full send into a corner and hit them in a quarter panel to say turn them. So they feel extremely stiff. They don't like to give a lot of room, at least on the oval side of things, but like I said, the oval racing in here, we really shouldn't judge how it is because it's a mod, first of all, with NASCAR and whatnot, and this game really, the AI wasn't meant for oval racing in general. So we're going to move on to the race, though. I mean, I feel really good about the car. I mean, we sit P1 on the board, so let's go see what we can do in the race. Only 20 laps in. I mean, it looks really good out right now in terms of weather, so I don't think we're going to see any rain. But at the road course race, I might actually program some rain in, as we're now underway. It's actually got slammed in the left side right there as we get going down into turns 1. AI, like I mentioned, are insane here at the Oval. So it's going to be very, very crazy now as I'm stuck behind the 52 of J.J. Yaley, having to really get on the brakes right there. But another thing is I can really stomp on those brakes without having to worry about the car really just kicking out and going in a weird direction now. As hello, I just drove into the back of him. Hamlin's 3 wide with us. I can't really go anywhere right now. It's kind of awkward, but trying to get to the inside, but we got Denny Hamlin on our inside, and we're just slamming the brakes. I'm going to go down to 3rd gear and see if I can just get a little bit rolling here. Out of 4, 3 wide, right behind Jimmy Johnson, not Alex Bowman. It's still the 2019 season on here. To the outside of him, though. Yeah, so obviously, this is no representation of what NASCAR 21 is with the AI and whatnot. As that's another thing right there that I hope isn't represented, is they do not like to leave you room going into the corner whatsoever. It reminds me just of like probably 4 or 5 years ago maybe, when they just did not give a crap that you were there. So, but like I said, I think the AI is going to be a completely different situation in the next NASCAR game. Hello, BJ McLeod. You got to be really careful of that. I'm sure you can see by now what I mean with how crazy they are when it comes to short track racing, as I'm going to get to the inside there. I definitely didn't get the gearing fully correct, so I might have to just go down to 3rd gear into the corners here. So we're going to try that. I mean, might as well. And hello again. And now as we go down into turns 1, we're up towards the top 30. But overall, it just feels so much better. It's really hard to describe, but I'm hoping that with the wheel cam being on, you guys get a bit of a better idea of how it feels and whatnot with just the wheel inputs I'm putting in and what you're seeing the car do. So, oh goodness gracious. But look at this big pack of cars right here. We got a lot of work to do. We're only on lap 6, and we got 27 positions to make up. We know we have the fastest car. I mean, we were P1 in practice, but look at this. I mean, at least they're not crashing, but it's just insane here now. I mean, there is manual caution, so if we get a caution, we'll actually have to drive the car around under pace laps, just like iRacing. And like I said earlier, I really hope that's also represented in the next NASCAR game. Hello, Kyle Larson. I am here. I am coming through. I'm not waiting around. Now 8 laps in. Okay, we're almost halfway through the field, so if we can get half the field in the first half of the race, then we can do the last lap. I just made a little bit of contact there. You can see a lot of smoke pouring out of these cars as well. I actually had to turn braking, anti-lock brakes on, because it is extremely easy, for me at least, with my poor braking skills, to lock up the brakes with this car specifically. Oh my goodness. Oh goodness. We're okay. That was sketchy. I did also turn damage off because I did not feel like dealing with that for this video now, as we're up into the top 20, but definitely having a tough time to say the least here. But I think honestly we might still be able to have a chance at winning here in Martinsville. Oh, got a little bit too much on the brakes there, and the back end kicked out. That's another thing that I really like about these physics, is you can definitely get away with abusing the car, but if you abuse it too much, it responds realistically. You know, if you're too hard on the braking, that back end's going to kick out, and you have the option to mess with the brake bias. So if you're having issues with braking, well, okay, you know what? You can actually adjust the brake bias in the car while you're driving, not just under the setup before the race, but while you're driving. And I can show you right here, there's a button on my wheel mapped, and you look in the left bottom of your screen, and I'm adjusting it up and down. Personally, I'm happy where it is right now. If I'm not too hard on the brakes, I think we're going to be okay. Up the inside of Chase Elliott right there. And now we are up into the top 10 behind Martin Truex Jr. But like I mentioned, you can tell the AI definitely aren't meant for oval racing on this game, but Let's go down into turns 1. Even downshifting, that's a little sketchy. I lost the back end right there. I can't tell who's up ahead leading. It might be the 47 car, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. No, not Stenhouse. Because he was not in that car in 2019. I actually don't remember who drove the 47 in 2019. I don't think it was AJ Allmendinger. But as we go through turns 1 and 2, now up the inside of Kevin Harvick, and just like that, we're up into the top 5. We get clear of him. And we're going to have about 6 laps to run down the 38. And I think I see Daniel Suarez up there. Oh, that's not even the leader up there in the potentially 47 car. So the leader is long gone. I can also cycle through different stuff here. We have road course tires on. I don't even know if there's oval tires because, once again, it's a road course racing game pretty much. So we have road course tires on, but I can cycle through. Another thing that I'm confident, of course, there's no guarantee. We don't know any info yet, really, about NASCAR 21 other than the physics with rFactor 2 and whatnot, Studio 397's involvement. But I'm confident, personally, that we're going to see things represented in loose, but like stuff like this where I can change the feel and whatnot, because if we have, say, manual driving on the pit lane like this game does, we're going to have a menu like this right here to adjust the car before we come into the pit lane, because you don't want to have to wait until you get to the pit lane. And now if I was able to adjust the car, right now I'd be putting the wedge up just a little bit, maybe by about 0.5. That's where I'd be pretty comfortable with. But now you see the 47, I'm going to pass him. I still legitimately can't remember who that is because I don't think it's Allmendinger. But Kevin Harvick's had an issue because Lowski's coming into the pit lane. I don't know if he's the leader or not. Yes, he is. He's pitting. So, coming to the final lap, all of a sudden, here I am leading the way. We have an incident or something up in front of us. I can't tell. But no actual caution. There is some trouble into the pit lane. I don't know why they're pitting, because we are pretty good on feel. But we exit turns 4, and we win near in Martinsville. So, I mean, I'll take it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull this off successfully or not. So let's see. Oh, yes we can. Let's go. Let's get some different cameras or something. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. Now that was cool. All right. So we are at the Daytona road course. Not sure how this is going to go. It's a 5-lap race. I'm going to do about 1 lap of practice to get a feel for it at a road course here. You can see we're in the garage. And this is another thing I would hope to see represented in NASCAR 21 is we can drive out from our garage. I hope that's a thing. I'm going to be doing a video. I made a Reddit thread about NASCAR 21 ideas, and I'll make an official post to get some more. And we're going to talk about some ideas for not only the next game, but games moving on from then as I've stalled the car. All right, we're going back towards the pit lane here. And for the race, it's 5 laps. And what I did was I actually messed with the rain chance, and about 75% of the way through the race there's a 50% chance of rain. Before then there's 0%, and then for the finish of the race there's a 100% chance of rain. So we'll see how that plays into effect. I'm not really sure if it's gonna add much to it or not, but we'll have to wait and see here as we get ready to come out onto the track. This is the NASCAR version, so it has that chicane out of oval turns 4. You'll see that represented. I'm not sure how the AI are going to tackle this track, but we're not really concerned about the AI in this video. It's all about how is this car driving now as I go down into first gear. Not a lot of grip right there, but feels pretty good. I'm not sure if the gearing is going to be good or not. We're going to have to wait and see. But, oh boy, does not drive the greatest in terms of just the setup as we go down to first gear. iRacing experience is definitely helping a little bit here now as we exit turns 2. I saw that like camera on that big cable right there that we've seen in the past. I can see it moving through, but overall so far I like what I feel. Once again, I mean, just I've liked what I felt for everything so far when it comes to actually driving these cars now, as I'm pretty sure the gearing is definitely a little bit off. We shouldn't be going up to 4th, I don't think, this early here at the road course, but as long as we don't top out right here, as I like to brake right about here, usually on iRacing to play it safe in the bus stop, but clearly that was way too early on rFactor. So, oh, they even got the turtles modeled in, which is really cool. I cut the track. Apparently, they were not happy with that, but as we come through oval 3 and 4, gonna just kind of migrate up the track right here, and then brake hard down to third, second. That chicane, oh god, that is weird. Up on the turtle, definitely gonna have to work on that in the actual race, but overall, I like what I'm feeling so far, so I'm confident that I might not finish last in the race, so let's go try it out. So here we are on the grid for the formation lap, as my car does not like going in first gear, but they're starting us in like P6, so this should be interesting. Now we're going to skip the formation lap though, and just get right to the racing action here in Daytona. So green flag is out. I'm really hopeful we don't just sail it off into turns 1 and have a huge crash here, so I'm going to be a little bit careful, trying to make sure we don't get ourselves into trouble. They are very aggressive on the braking. Their back ends are just kicking right out. I think we did a pretty good job. We got someone on my left here. I'm going to try and be careful there. Was that Ryan Priest in the 47? I think it is. As we go down into the turn. My bad. The Benedetto. Oh my goodness. Or is that Menard? I can't remember. Car did not want to slow down, but look at this. So you can see this rain cell approaching the track. And that is just really cool. For some reason, just as like a weather nerd a bit, in racing games like Formula 1, you can of course race in the rain, but it'll go from dry to wet. But you never really see the cell coming in. The clouds just kind of appear and take over the track. But on here, you can see that cell moving in towards the racetrack, and I think that is really cool. And if we do get lucky, I mean, there's a bunch of road courses on the schedule this year for NASCAR, so you know they'll all be represented in the NASCAR game. So I'm hopeful that they have decided to implement more weather into NASCAR 21 or whatever it's called, and we can see stuff like that where we can actually see the storm cell rolling in really heavy on the braking, but that actually felt really good. I stomped on those brakes right there, but it worked out. We definitely don't have the straight line speed, so the gearing's a little bit off, but we're just going to manage through it because, I mean, we're still up here running in the top 5 now as we exit the corner. This chicane's weird, we know that. Hard on the brake, hard on the brake. Oh, I've lost it. That's why you can't be too hard onto the brake. And now the car is stalled, so we got to get it going. Oh, this is going to get awkward here. We're going to have to wait for all of these guys to go by. Now the car is stalled again because of me waiting, and here we go. So now, it's the last to first challenge. I just cut that, but it's okay. Warning, cut the track, but okay. We're going to see what we can make up now, but look at this cell coming in. As a weather nerd, I just love seeing that, and we're going to see the rain probably start here pretty soon, as I'm going to be most interested to see. As now I've overheated the tires, you can see the car slipping around more. That was my own stupidity. I just braked too hard. I over-abused the brakes and around it went, so we're going to have to be a little bit careful on that and try to work our way back forwards here. But, oh yeah, there's no grip anymore. But I'm very curious to see if we're going to have to put on the rain tires, if it's going to start raining in time for that. So we will be ready. Wow, this car has suddenly, after we spun, become quite the handful to tackle. But I feel like it's getting better now. Oh goodness, maybe not, but they're starting to get some shade covering the track with those clouds. And there is things like track temperature and whatnot that does change and fluctuate throughout a racing event now that we're back here. I can't even close in on these guys in front of us. The AI at the oval on max strength were very easy to beat. We went from like almost dead last at Martinsville to winning that race in 20 laps. And here we are at Daytona road course, fairly able to hang with these guys. So now we're just really going to wait and see what happens with this rain and see if that moves in. But overall, I've been enjoying everything that I've been feeling with this car. I've got way too much apron right there, but definitely a big learning curve for sure. And if you can get your hands on rFactor 2. If you're on PC, obviously, if you're not on, or if you're on console, unfortunately, rFactor is not on consoles. Hopefully, that might change in the future, but right now you can't. So, if you really want to get a good feel, though, for what the physics are going to likely be like in NASCAR 21, if you can get rFactor, I highly recommend it. Get yourself kind of suited on this game and then see where it goes. And then hopefully, when the next NASCAR game comes out, you might have a bit of an advantage over a lot of the new players coming in now, as we have just a couple of laps to go, as we have to serve our penalty this lap, unfortunately. So we'll be doing that. But overall, I'm just loving what I'm playing, and it's not very hard at all to kind of just get into, because it is definitely a very sim approach. It is starting to rain on the track, so that's going to be an interesting dynamic here. But it's definitely a sim approach, of course, but it just feels very approachable for a casual player. So I would not really be intimidated whatsoever if you're just an arcade casual player trying to maybe test out rFactor to get a feel for the physics for the next game. But right now the track isn't wet, and you look in the right bottom of your screen, and it's telling us what the rain is. Like rain 20%, although I'm pretty sure it's raining, so I think that'd be like 100. But you can see how wet the track is right now. It's between 0 to 6% wet. So we have to enter the pits here when we get back around, unfortunately. Slipping around right there, you can see how damp the track is, especially on the banking here through Oval 1 and 2. But it's not really affecting the track too much right now based off of what the info is saying in the bottom of the screen now. As I'm just going to brake kind of at the normal spot here, right around the number 2 sign. And we still got through there really well. So you can see the trail of water coming through the mirror behind us as well, which is kind of cool. I don't know how I just got a warning for cutting the track. But nonetheless, this is the last lap. We got a good feel of just the physics and whatnot and how they feel around a short track, an oval, and then some road course racing. And now as we come through into the final turn, this is not going to go well. That was a really rough corner, but we make it stick. I did not make it stick. So let's get that car started back up. Can spin it around a lot easier now that it's wet. But yeah, let's bring it home. That was unfortunate, but we're going to come through to cross the line in 40th place. I'll take it. Even got the choose cone right there on the track now. Can we get through here? Oh, wait a second. Don't mind if I do, gentlemen. Oh my goodness, perfect. As I just want to see what these guys are doing. Are they even going full throttle? No, they are not, but there we have it here from Daytona road course. Now we're just going to get up to the back of like Ryan Newman or something and just run into him. See what happens there. See, can I turn him? That's what I'm talking about with stiffness. I feel like you should turn around right there, as we're just going to sail it off into the corner. Hello, Austin Dillon. How are we doing? Into the grass, into the barrier we go. All right, so there you have it. Getting used to the physics that are going to be in NASCAR 21 with oval racing, road course racing, and whatnot. And my overall just opinion was it felt really good. And I don't know, I think that it's definitely very, very approachable for your casual player. But still, if you're a sim racing fan, you're going to be very happy with that. And if you can get your hands on rFactor 2, highly recommend it. And then definitely getting like the NASCAR mod and whatnot. Just kind of feel around and just experiment with the driving in this game. So if you guys enjoyed, you know what to do. I got some more rFactor mods videos on the way with the NASCAR stuff and even some Formula 1 stuff. So make sure to stay tuned for that. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day, everybody.